Good morning. So this is going to be a slightly different video and not as long. I'd wanted to continue my flight series, kind of island hopping and country hopping around the world out of Italy. But there's been a couple updates since the last video, which is partly why this one's been delayed. And the latest update is the Game of the Year Edition update. And this is quite a big update. They added a whole slew of new things. You can see they've got the racing series, which is awesome. The only downside for me on this one is the price. Loading. I mean, US dollars is 20. That's not bad. I've seen some really weird conflicting updates around here with different aspects of this, because the jet class is listed at $100. The full collection's listed at $419. You can see everything just kind of changing around through the different versions, but it can get a little bit confusing. So this just adds the air races. Premium Deluxe Upgrade, I already have that because I bought the full game. But $420 for the full Reno Air Races bundle, on sale for $60. I mean, that is just absolutely absurd. I like all the different classes. I like all the different types of airplanes. I love the idea of the Reno Air Races, but that price tag, holy criminy. Just no way. I mean, I love all these different planes. It just looks like a lot of fun, but no. So, unfortunately, back. Now, I don't know if you can tell or notice, but in this update, the menu system, everything seems to be so laggy again, and I don't know why. Like, I click on something, it takes a few seconds to get going. It doesn't always just move over and shift like it used to, so there's a lot of issues on that front. I've had a lot of ongoing comments about rudder problems, especially when the planes are on the ground, where they'll land and the wheel will just go hard over as if the rudder's already selected. I don't have a fix for it, but what I wanted to call out, especially in this upgrade, was if you haven't checked in a while, go look at all of your settings, because when this update dropped, I just came through to take a look and see what, if anything, had changed, because something always inevitably changes. When I checked the assistance options, everything had been defaulted back to easy, like the game had launched. And I have no idea if I put this back to where I had it, so I have no idea. So I've kind of killed some of these crashing issues. I did want icing on. See, I've already forgotten some of these. I think I had engine stress damage. I think I had airplane stress turned off just because of the insanity that some of the autopilot's done to me in recent flights. And crash damage off as well, just because, again, autopilot's done some ridiculous things, and I don't want to torch an entire 2-3 hour flight for something that's not on me. So I've turned those off, but in some of these, especially under, not piloting, you've got auto rudder, assisted yoke, assisted takeoff, assisted landing. You've got all these other things in here that may be impacting some of what's happening. So definitely recommend coming in here and taking a look at those settings to ensure that they have not gone wonky on you. Next is under the controls. I haven't looked at this in a little while. Controller. Let's check my sensitivity. Okay, finally it actually remembered my sensitivity. That's amazing. I don't know why they can't do that for everything else. And I'm going to come to flight control surfaces here. No, I didn't want to do that. There we go. Primary control surfaces. So in here, they've changed a lot of these things, but you can see you've got the rudder axis to the right and rudder axis to the left. Depending on what your setup and control method is, these are what you may need to come in here and take a look at. For me, I'm using the Xbox controller, so I just have the left and right triggers. But I don't have it selected, so I'd have to come in here and select all. And see, I don't even have a toggle for the water rudder, which is annoying. Anyway. You've got rudder access, which is also what you may need to select, which is kind of what the game originally had, which is why I could only turn my rudder one direction because they had just one default axis across the entire board. So somewhere in here, these settings got messed up. There's also been some issues with Windows calibration and drivers and a whole bunch of issues that have kind of caused a lot of problems around there. So wanted to highlight that for just a second. Now I'm going to come into the world map. I, again, have been flying here around Italy, even though my last landing, which I was an idiot. I know Nice is in France. Anyway, I will fly over to Italy. I don't know where I'll go. I'll probably head down to Rome or something interesting. We'll see. Anyway, what I wanted to look at were airplanes. So I still miss the old, to a degree, slider of this. But what I really wish they wouldn't do is have 15 versions of the same airplane. And let me scroll down so you can see this. So here you go. You've got the Cub Crafters. You've got it with floats. You've got it with skis, which is a great option. I love that. You've got a TDI and an NG with no real explanation of which is which or why. Turbo, don't know. No idea. I'm guessing this one just has a slightly better engine, which is why it can fly farther and faster. But otherwise, there's really no description about what really separates any of these planes, so it gets a little bit confusing. Now, if I come down further, you've got this one, the Pilatus, PC6, PC6, PC6. They're all the same flipping plane. You've got one that has like a special livery, same stats. You've got another one with skis on it. Okay, that's cool. And then another one that has the exact same things but is a different skin. So why do I need 3 different airplanes for this? Oh, look, 4. This one has floats. Why do I need 4 versions of this airplane? Just give me one. I only need the one. Same thing down here with all these Cessnas. I mean, look at this. Do I really need 4 versions of this? No, I don't. I should just have one option and the ability to select what I want to equip it with within the menus of the airplane, like a livery. So that is definitely getting a bit annoying because it makes this menu really convoluted and long when there's no need to. All right, so new airplanes. I have not flown anything in here yet. I just came in here and have spent way too long trying to fix all my settings. So you've got a cool new Pitts Special in here, which is pretty cool. It's kind of the same thing as this one, but they added a new skin for it and looks like a slightly different wing design. Can't tell for sure, but it does look like a slightly different wing. And twin blade prop instead of a tri-blade. So interesting to see how that will perform. They have added the F-18, which is awesome. The 787 again, still there. We talked about some of the other airplanes already, so another interesting one, is this one, which is the personal taxi that demoed recently, the Velocity. Interesting to see how this works. Not very fast, not very high. No real endurance. If I recall, it's an electrical aircraft, but it is very interesting. No real range either, so going to be interesting to see how that one actually flies. But one I am really excited for is the Super Hornet, just because this plane was always so fun. Stupid liveries again, can't really select anything awesome. I mean, can't even give me the Blue Angels. Whatever. I'm sure the livery pack that I downloaded will eventually come in with some of that. We'll see how that goes. I haven't read through all of the notes yet to see what exactly's changed, if I've missed any of the major callouts in here, but I wanted to spend a couple of minutes just kind of going over some of those issues and annoyances, because while they've made a lot of good improvements, they've made a lot of problems as well. And one of the things that I also really wanted to play, again, is VR. But according to a couple folks I know, there's some issues in VR, and especially my nephew, because he's been playing in VR, and he bought the Reno Air Races mode, and he said like the flight controls are stuck and the HUD is like way up in your face, so you can't see anything. So they completely broke VR yet again, even though it was never functional beforehand. But I do like the idea that now the VR controllers can actually interact, so I can reach out and grab the yoke and fly with my actual controller. Might be interesting. I'll have to give that a try at some point. But because once again it's broken, I don't get to play in VR. So anyway, I look forward to testing the update out, seeing how it goes. What I will most likely do is just continue my flight series to stick with what we know and test how things go. We'll see what happens. So thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.